I was going to go to the model store today. Had a list all made up for stuff that I wanted to pick up. But as you can see here, it's not very nice outside. The only thing good I have to say about it is, well, you see the other side of that recycle bin? There's a little tiny snowdrift. That's all that's left of the snow in the neighborhood as far as I can see. Oh, there might be some somewhere else behind somebody's house, but it's 99.9% gone, and I'm not too sad about that. Anyway, it's rainy and drizzly, and I don't like to be driving down the road when I have to use my windshield washer half the time. So I'm going to just wait till the weather improves. Now, I'd wanted to get some XF64 or 68 to use for the upper portion of the hulls, or rather for these boats. Yeah, so, sort of a brown. But I'm just wondering, maybe I can't mix something up too that'd be almost the same. Speaking of hulls, it's about 12 hours or more that I painted this with that little brush. Let's just put the macro lens back on here, and we'll take a nice close look. Well, since that last scene that you just saw there, I did go out. But I didn't go to the hobby store. It's election day, federal election day here in Canada, so I went out and voted. And I cast my ballot for the politician who I felt was probably trying to mislead me the least. Yeah, actually the person that I kind of wanted to vote for, he in a way frightens me, so I don't know. I'd talk about it, except when I post this video, our polls are still open for another 3 hours. Not that anybody listens to me. Boy, I better do something about this here. It's going to catch, and yeah, I'll fix that up. Anyway, yeah, maybe it's time for another episode of Strange Beliefs and Legalisms, or whatever that was. But it won't be today. So let's try and get this up here on this one of these alligator clips, so I can get the angle just right, and then we can get in nice and close and look at that. Oh, and there's one other thing too. A couple of viewers made a comment. One of the viewers reminded me that I had these things here, and he was saying how these work really well as for a paintbrush if you want to do something pointed. Another viewer said you take a toothpick and you whittle it down so that it's, you know, nice and flat on the end, and you can use that. So I think I'm going to probably try both of those and try this, and I'll whittle down a toothpick. I mean, after all, maybe this will be a woodworking show today. Yeah, gotta fix that. Okay, it's somewhat better. Looks terrible, but what am I going to do? These are the only fingers I got, as that one guy said when somebody was complaining about how his fingers looked. Okay, so we want to be looking right there. I think that's the spot. Now, if you will remember, we did our touch-up right there. And you can sort of see where I went into the black just a little bit, just above the bristles there. But for the most part, I mean, at normal viewing distance, you can't see that I did anything there, and that gray just blended right in with the, you know, with the rest of the gray here. Okay, this is that same hull, only the stern instead of the bow. And you can see here where when I sprayed the black, it sort of bled down into the underneath the masking tape. And why don't I try this little pointed Q-tip thing here and just see how good it is. You know, just very, very carefully see if I can't just use it like a brush. You know, just for curiosity's sake. All I'm going to lose is just one end of one Q-tip. I think I've got about 50 of them. One of the viewers sent them to me. Mind you, since then I have seen them in the hobby store, so when I use them all up, I will be able to buy more, and they're not very expensive either. Okay. Now, see if I can steady myself here. Doesn't seem to want to come off. I'll re-dip. Maybe too much of it absorbed into the Q-tip and then it dried. Oops, I almost touched the black there. Maybe I'll turn it. I don't think I'm really doing very much. A little bit of damage on the rub rail. See if I can... I think what's happening is there is too much paint being absorbed into the Q-tip. I'll re-dip. Maybe that's too much now. So I'm just doing the repair on the rub rail. I'm scared to try and once again, you can probably see it better than I can. Just turn it here a bit. Okay, now I can breathe again. Well, from my perspective, it's slightly better. Okay, I have taken a toothpick, and this is actually the one that we used a few weeks ago for picking up the photo etch off of something I forget now. But I do remember it had something to do with photo etch. And so I'm just using that, and I just resharpened it to get it feathered right out there. And you'll notice that right here where I'm touching, there's a little bit of black. I'm just going to see if this toothpick idea will work. Okay, I'm trying desperately not to bump anything here. Maybe I should go more like this. Yeah, I would say now that once that dries, it's probably going to be okay once that dries. I don't think we're going to see that black overspray at all anymore. Probably making it worse. Okay, we're still on that same bow section. I've just sort of swung it around, and you can see here I think this is more in line with what the viewer was thinking. Now, once again, I think once that dries out, the paint will evaporate, or the water in the paint will evaporate, and it'll sort of shrink, sort of like shrink wrap. Let's just leave it for a while and see what happens. Okay, about half an hour has passed here now. And yes, I did use the hairdryer. And so that may have, once again, that may have made a slight difference. I would say that both of these systems work, but both of these systems need a very steady hand. And as you can see, well, I suppose if I used a bit of a steady rest, right now I'm not really bracing myself too well. But yeah, both systems work. And I don't know which one I would say is the best. Being as I just used each one only once, I just can't say. But anyway, it's improved. And on the bow here, right on the stem, where we had that little black mark, I can't see it. I know you're not at the right angle, but I am. I'm straight off the bow here, and I can see that little black mark is completely gone. And like I say, normal viewing distance, you cannot tell that that's not perfect. When I get up in the morning and I start one of these videos, I have no idea really how it's going to end. Sometimes they end the way I expect, and sometimes they don't. This is one of those days didn't end up the way I thought it was going to. It's almost 3 o'clock already in the afternoon here in Winnipeg. It's not a long video, I know, and not very interesting. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe tomorrow will be better. But mind you, it's supposed to be rainy again tomorrow too. Yeah, I had expected to, go to the hobby store and, get some paint that we could paint these, some sort of, like a wood color. And then I thought, well, maybe I could mix it up myself. And I didn't do that. I just ended up testing out this, which I was, at least we know something we didn't know before. Well, I guess Jim knew that this would work, and I don't know I can't remember this guy's name. Seems to me it was one of those, an avatar type name. It wasn't his real name. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I appreciate it when people, tell me about stuff that that they found works. I really do. Anyway, enough talk here. As I learned a new word. One of the viewers phoned me up last night, and he said something about he was getting rather verbose. And I had to ask him. I said, well, I have to tell you, I'm a little bit low-browed. I don't know what verbose means. Oh, he says talks a lot. So I guess I'm just being a little verbose here. I told him I'd try and work that word in somehow, and that's about the best I can do. Anyway, thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.